This is the Commodities, Scrap Metal Recycling and Economic Report brought to you by Bentley Roll-Off Trailers, Gondola Trailers, and Roll-Off Truck Parts, February 27, 2023. U.S. weekly raw steel production fell to 1.654 million tons. January finished steel imports were up 18.3% from December, but the finished steel imports were actually down 14.4% from last January, yet they were a total of 24% of January sales. WTI crude oil price fell slightly to $76.32 a barrel on hotter than expected U.S. economic data, which is bringing recession fears. That's based on the Federal Reserve could raise interest rates higher for longer. The U.S. weekly oil rig count fell to 600 and has been trending down for the past 3 months. Low production with slowing demand brings higher prices and maximizes profits. U.S. weekly crude oil production was steady at 12.3 million barrels per day in a tight range for 10 months. Oil company shareholders want dividends, not more money spent on pumping. More pumping brings lower prices and lower profits. Scrap steel number one HMS price was steady at $355 gross ton. There are some signs of upward pressure for March, as the strong U.S. dollar could bring scrap imports into the U.S. Hot rolled coil steel price fell slightly to $41.53 per hundredweight, which is $8.31 a ton, on slow demand, higher costs, and more of the lower priced steel imports. Copper price fell to $3.96 a pound on recession fears and slow Chinese demand. Aluminum price fell to $1.06 a pound, which is $23.35 a metric ton, on record Chinese production and slower demand concerns. U.S. February S&P manufacturing PMI increased to 47.8, but remember, under 50 is contraction, so it's contracting less. This is the fourth consecutive fall in production. Lead times were shortened, though, yet employment actually rose the fastest in September, and backlogs declined. U.S. Q4 2022 annual GDP growth. The economy grew at a good 2.7%, and the total year 2022 grew at 2.1%. Services spending grew more than goods, and exports fell 1.6% as imports declined 4.2%. U.S. January core PCE, that's the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. This is the Federal Reserve's preferred gauge to measure inflation. It rose to 4.7% annually, higher than December's 4.6%. This supports the idea of the higher for longer interest rates. U.S. January sales of new single-family homes jumped 7.2% versus December, the highest in 10 months, but it's still at the level of the 1960s. The Federal Reserve wants low sales, though, because that's going to help tame inflation. U.S. February U of M Consumer Sentiment Survey was revised higher to 67, the highest since January 2022. Current conditions were revised lower, but expectations were revised higher. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average fell a big 1,010 points to 32,817 on the stronger than expected inflation report. This again could bring those higher for longer interest rates that could bring that recession. Roll-off trailers for sale at Bentley. Tandem axle to 8 axle for Michigan only. 25-foot 11-inch roll-off truck replacement trailers to up to 50-foot trailers. All are heavy-duty but optimized to carry the most weight. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions, and we hope all have a safe and profitable week.